Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you guys are all doing exceptionally well today. It's been a moment since I've done one of these. It is currently the 1st of September. I don't remember exactly when the last time I recorded one of these was, but there's been many changes that we've gone through in the last few months with regards to our training. First and foremost, I believe in the last few videos, especially the last leg day that you saw me wearing a blue shirt, I had swapped from doing squats to doing leg press. That has been a permanent change now that I've kept, as I've found it to be a much better movement and one that I've definitely been able to progress a lot faster, easier, better, all that kind of stuff. We've currently now, for a few weeks, come out of our calorie deficit. We are now in a surplus of some kind, and the gains have kind of been back on track. We've seen strength gains, reps, all that kind of good stuff across the board for a lot of things. There's only a few exercises, like some of my chest presses and the like, that I haven't seen consistency for, but that's not what we're about today. We're going to be doing some leg work today. Now, due to some of the changes that I've made to my program, we actually won't have that much footage in this particular vlog. That's okay. We're going to be doing, at the very least, our quad bias stuff and glute bias stuff, which is the leg press, is it seated? I suppose it would be seated leg press, and our hamstring work, which is hamstring curls. We swapped from doing Romanian deadlifts to hamstring curls. I think that's a good idea. I do think maybe I could go back to doing deadlifts. I think that might be a change we may make, but the hamstring curls, they are a lot more, I feel like, biasing of the actual hamstrings, which is why I made the change. They also take a lot less time to set up, but they are more difficult for me to progress. I feel like that's because I'm progressing specifically the hamstrings, as opposed to things in totality. My ability to push, that kind of stuff. A Romanian deadlift uses your glutes. It uses a lot more of the other structures of the leg, not just the hamstrings. Yeah, it's been a few months. Again, it's September the 1st now. How did that happen? It's almost the end of the year. Time just keeps going, and I think that's a really interesting thing that we need to keep on moving through. I had goals for particular movements at the start of the year, and I've taken some of those movements out of my program, but I've still been having that consistent goal of show up every single week, put down the numbers, write it down, try and make it a bigger number by the next week, and that's just been a really nice thing, and we have seen improvement. I believe now we are around the 110 plus kilograms for my leg presses, and that's unilaterally as well. And for my hamstring curls, I think we're still around like 54, 56-ish. And so it's a work in progress. I do also do some tibialis work, so the front side of your lower leg, front side, like where your calf is, the other side of that leg, and also some abdominal work, but I don't normally record that, so I'll have a see. That may be in the video, it may not be, but at the very least we will be doing some leg work in the quad / glute and the hamstring department. How am I doing? I'm doing exceptional. Me and my friends have been up to a lot of good stuff. I've been watching all of Demon Slayer up to what's currently released, because the the Infinity Castle movie comes out in, I don't know, a week and a bit. So I've been rewatching all of that. I only watched up to Mugen Train, basically. Oh no, the Entertainment District arc, so technically season 3. So that's been a fun thing to catch up on. Aside from that, my injuries or discomforts have kind of gotten better, especially my glutes. So, and this is kind of a real thing for others who are out there who may be suffering with something that they don't quite understand. Do rehab work. Crazy, right? I've been doing glute bridges for like 30 seconds every day. Just a single thing of glute bridges, and I find that the stability that's brought me throughout the day has been massively beneficial. Is it a full fix? Absolutely not, but it's allowed me to balance better. I can actually now balance on one leg and lean and like hinge and stuff. It's a work in progress, but it's allowed me to look at some of the other things that I'm doing and go, okay, well, is there any way for me to change what I'm doing so that I can put a bit more stability into this movement? So for instance, my shoulder is the next one that I want to look at, and so on and so forth. What other interesting stuff? Still really enjoying Magic the Gathering. I've created a ton of decks, started producing content as well on my second channel for that as well. Actually, my second channel has kind of been out of focus recently, which is why you'll notice the videos over here slowed down for a moment, because I was just passionate, so I created. And that's, I think, something that's worth mentioning, is if you're passionate, just create, because passion doesn't often come. Sometimes you just need to create. But when you get passion, creating that passion, I think it's a really beautiful thing. Let's see, what else have we got cooking? What else have we got brewing? I'm back into Warframe. It's been really, really nice. I watched TennoCon 2025, and that was ridiculous. So I've been playing that, been really enjoying that. I'm now in Steel Path, and I've done the new war. Incredible, incredible stuff. I may make some videos on my second channel about that experience, especially the new war, because I really enjoyed it. In any case, that's where we're going to leave this off here, and we'll hop into the video. As always, be sure to warm up properly. That's stuff that I don't necessarily cover on this. And then also be sure to stretch out appropriately afterwards so that you can be recovered for the next time you train. With that being said, I'll catch you guys in the gym. Hello ladies and gentlemen, I hope you guys are all doing exceptionally well. We are going to be getting into some, well, you guys can see for yourself. We're going to be going down into some leg press. We currently have 110 kilos loaded up. We are going to be increasing that to either 111 or 112 because we've done really, really well over the last few weeks. We hit 7 reps-ish, at this weight, so we want to increase that. And yeah, this has been a real nice exercise. I definitely prefer it to squats at the moment. With how limited I feel my ankle mobility is, and also just the way I'm moving, this feels a lot safer and a lot better. Let's see, what are the aims? Well, go as hard as we can. Oh, some changes that I have made since watching some of Elijah Mundy's content is regarding going to failure. I want to really try practicing reps in reserve and like understanding how effort can be used. So watching some of his stuff, you know, when form breaks down, because he's so diligent with his form, when form starts to break down, those reps aren't worth doing, by paraphrasing his words. So if we're going to do a rep and we would just like push it a little bit and then it wouldn't work, that's a rep that isn't worth doing. We could just like not do that rep because we know we've hit failure. So that's something I want to be practicing definitely a lot more. Aside from that though, there's not a whole lot to it. We're just going to hop in, dive in, have some fun, and lift some heavy ass weight. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I am ready to hop into this. So we're going to be doing a single leg at a time. And we may choose to do myo reps, which are, after we've done our full set, we'll take a moment and we may do another rep. We'll see. This is a much higher, because I've been eating a lot more, I'm comfortable putting on 2.5 kilograms when I would normally put on 1.25. So if we get 5 reps, that's on standard. If we get 6, that's above. Anyway, let's hop in. Holy shit, I actually lost count. I think that was 6. I don't know though. Either way, I feel like I can go for a 7th. So let's just do a reset and push. The principle of myo reps, as far as I'm aware, is that we somewhat mentally, limit ourselves when we've come close to failure, and just, the desire to kind of quit. So building up that kind of mental fortitude, that tact to keep going when it gets really tough. That takes a lot of work, even consistently, even after you've become an experienced lifter. But that was perfect. That was exactly failure. That was incredible. I'll need to actually count how many reps that was total because I don't know. But that is what we like to see. I'm going to assume that I did 6 reps followed by 1 and try and aim for the same again. But with my reps, which is that little extra rep after your first one, I found I've been able to use that to keep increasing week by week. Who knows, maybe it's not the mile rep at all, maybe it's just wasted effort, but I feel like based on the changes that I've made, that adding that has been a difference maker. I'm actually gonna get some more water. Oh gosh. Whew. That was tough. That's the same, no matter how much weight's on here, no matter how much progress you make, I feel like it'll always be tough, so just keep getting stronger. But definitely again, room for a myo rep. I can just feel it. I've got that little bit extra that I can give now. I will address this a bit more, but you may ask, why not do a second set? For me, it's really just time. I feel like doing a second set here, it would just take a very long, very big amount of time out of what I have available to me in like the wider scheme of things. I did rest a little bit too long there, to be honest with you, to count as a myo rep, but that's still good. I definitely wouldn't have been able to get any more work out of that set, which is fine. So that, ladies and gentlemen, is a job well done. Again, I only do a single set's worth of, of movement, but I have found that in the absence, shall we say, of doing a second set, doing a little bit of myo repage, as it has been known to me, has been valuable. But yeah, as for why I don't do a second set of my things, even though I would love to, it's strictly a time thing. You know, it takes me about half an hour to walk here from work at the end of the day. I've worked overtime today, and you know, when I train, it takes let's say it takes 7 minutes conservatively per set, right? I do 5 sets. I usually do 10 minutes per set just to give myself some leeway with warming up and whatnot. But let's say it takes me 10 minutes per set and I'm doing 5 sets, so that's 50 minutes. You may think, oh, that's a good amount of time. Yeah, but then you need to warm up. Warm up's at least 10 to 15 minutes, probably 20. So let's say it's 15. Okay, that's an hour 15. Okay. Then I always find that regardless of how much I try and rein it in, I'm stretching out for at least half an hour. And that's just me, because I do some rehab work, you know, I do some of this, some of that. So for me, that's then another half an hour, 40 minutes. And suddenly then I need to walk home. So I tend to find that, you know, with just the time that I already allot to go into the gym, which is a priority of mine, absolutely. If I did any more work, it would be probably another 5 minutes per set. So that's another, 50% increase in total training time. And of course, I've structured my program pretty nicely so I have a nice amount of redundancy across the week, but I just don't find that it's worth doing, for me at the very least, 2 sets per session, day, whatever you may want to call it. In any case, I hope that kind of elaborates. I basically just want some time in the evening to chill out, because I always find that I'm doing a lot of stuff and not a lot of just relaxing. So that's my rationale. In any case, on to the next thing. So ladies and gentlemen, looking back at the footage, I did 8 reps for my right leg and 7 reps for my left. I don't know where I got 6 from. So anyway, unfortunate. Maybe, you know, in hindsight, you know, maybe I could have gotten an extra rep for my left leg if I'd known I'd done 8 reps. There's a chance, but there we go. Within it's within my acceptable mean. But talking to you guys, I get a bit distracted, so sorry about that. Future me, past me, present me, and to you guys. But that means just that next week, again, remember this, I went from doing 2 kilograms lighter than that, 2.5 kilograms lighter than that, for 7 reps, to doing 2.5 kilograms heavier for 7 to 8 reps. So that's a win regardless. Like, we preserved rep range and added 2.5 kilograms of weight, of load. My technique definitely needs work because I slow down massively. You guys can see I end up stopping and braking at the in the extended position. But that's gonna just take time. It just takes, pardon me. It takes me a bit of time to get through the pacing of that. I'm honestly not sure what's better, to do like, basically treat a single set as instances of 1 rep, or to, you know, keep it fluid and moving the whole way through. I'm kind of working on that. So that's something for me to kind of work on, to have a little puzzle about, shall we say. But yeah, otherwise, I mean, not bad, right? We've got 55.25 that we'll be doing on here. We've previously gotten this for much more, but we're gonna be doing it for 5 reps if we can. We've gotten 4 pretty consistently. But I don't know, there's something about this movement that just never quite gets right with me. Maybe it's just because of my inability to really feel like I can use my hamstrings properly with, you know, fear around injuries and whatnot. But I got some good contractions doing this now, which isn't the main focus, but it is something to try out. So we're gonna go get the rest of our weight and then get into it. But this will be the last thing that I record for this session, so sorry that I'm not recording everything else, but I can see time's getting away from me, so I just want to do as much as I can in the time that I've left. So I'll catch you guys afterwards for a little post-hit commentary and posing down. But otherwise, let's hop into this and get going. Ladies and gentlemen, that was a tumultuous set. My technique was all over the place. Holy moly. We will do a Maya rep, and I will talk about it a bit more, so sorry if this is stagnated, but to start with, the first few reps I was like, my legs were completely flush to this, and I was just curling up, and I felt like I could just go for it, like I was much stronger in that position. But then I kind of engaged my glutes and almost pulled my hamstrings away from pulled my quads away from the pad, and it became infinitely harder. Now, of course it would, but I wonder what the correct technique actually is. In any case, let's do another. Still got 5, even if my technique was whack. Yeah, so there I pulled my quads just naturally pulled away from the pad. That feels correct though, but I don't know if it is correct. Let me see if I can show you guys what it is that I'm talking about here with regard to, actually, yeah. Let me see if I can show you guys what it is I'm talking about. Sorry, I'm gonna be a bit rough with you. I hope that's okay. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, so please take a look at my legs here. And I'm actually gonna put myself in front of myself so I can see. Using a lightweight, I'll be able to show this quite well. When I was first doing the reps, it looked a little something like this, right? A little something like this. And that, I felt like I could do a lot of reps of. But when I do these normally, my technique looks like this. Let me lower the weight even more. It looks like that. I'm not sure if that's a very visible difference, but it's like from this to this. And to me it feels like all the difference, you know? Like that. You see how my knees come away versus like this. And I wonder which one's correct. I'm gonna do some research into that. Sorry, I used the leg that was furthest away, but that's my bad leg, so it felt good. That's so weird, isn't it? let me use no weight one more time. And just pay attention to where my knee is. Okay? So, the technique that I was trying out was this, right? Okay? Like this. Doing it really slow. Okay? This. Right? We all got that? The technique that I normally do is this. You see? Like it's almost like I'm pushing my glute up, I guess. Maybe that's the reason why I'm having trouble progressing, is that I'm trying to like do almost like a glute curl as opposed to like a hamstring curl. Like maybe this is all I need to be doing, and all this extra shit like this. Maybe that's the limiting factor. In any case, it's very interesting. That's where we will conclude that conversation. I will move on to the rest of my workout, and I will see you guys afterwards, okay? Thank you very much for tuning in. Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. We have finished up our session for today, and we are heading back home. Today's session was very good, but it is quite late out now. I spent a little bit longer than I normally would. Well, actually, within my normal time frame for stretching, but it's meant that we are heading back a little bit later, just because I wanted to really get into some of the deeper positions for my legs. I didn't do a full flexibility session, but that's okay. I suppose I should talk a little bit about what I actually do for my stretching. I stretch out the main areas that I've worked. I always do splits, whether or not I actually push those splits to a level that is, I don't know, how would you put it? Full split is kind of up for debate, but I do try a split every leg session, so twice a week, just to keep that, kind of level and quality of flexibility. But when I discuss kind of the difference between flexibility versus just regular stretching, I consider flexibility training to be training with the intention of improving your joint range of motion, versus just stretching being stretching, like moving into a joint range of motion, holding at an extended joint range of motion, and just waiting there for a little while. That's my opinion at the very least. But I got that done, so I do the two kind of frontal splits and then the box splits, so that I can get my hamstrings, my hips, my groin, all that kind of good stuff. And I feel it's quite good. I also do a lot of quad-based stuff, some ankle work, and then stretching out my back as well, my core, because those are the two areas which will get trained almost regardless of what you're doing, whether it's upper body, lower body, you will work those two areas. So it's a good idea, in my opinion, to stretch them out. But how did we actually do? We did pretty well today. In the recorded sessions, obviously, you guys saw that for the leg press, I was rather exceptional, and for the hamstring curl, I still have some technical deficits to work on, but all in all, we did make progress, which is okay. And I also did learn another thing as well, which is that the moving of my hips upwards, so like where I was describing my technique versus the technique which I believe is correct. The reason why I think I haven't progressed as much with this particular movement is because I've been doing that, like pulling my quads away from the pad, the mat. And what that's doing is it's making it more of like a hip thrust, if you will. Like if you think about the motion, I'm not exactly sure why, or even more like a glute kickback. That's more correct. It's more like a glute kickback, and that is not really that's not what we're trying to do at all. It's not at all what we're trying to do. So I need to work on that so that I can standardize my form, and with a more standardized form, I will have much better kind of work. Oh, we got a cat. I'm not sure if you guys, it's locked on my face, so I can't exactly spin it, but we've got a little kitty here. Who knows, maybe we'll run into the others as well. See if I can, sorry, one of my hands is not free at the moment. We've got a kitty. There are two others who I normally see up here. That's the first time I've met that kitty. But a lot of ginger cats on this promenade, back street, however you want to describe it. But the session was good. With this adjustment to my hamstrings, I think I'll be doing well. Something I will report is that my lifts are improving, but I still feel hungry. Now, tracking how much I'm, kind of gaining on the scale, it's an inconsistent increase and decrease, but I've been averaging now around 84 kilograms, which is 84.4 is like where I've been at. And that's a really interesting kind of place to be. So I'm kind of gaining mass nice and slow, which is different than what I've previously done and probably more correct. So I'm very happy about that, but it does also mean that I feel like maybe sometimes I'm not eating in the same kind of capacity as I have previously. Well, I definitely am not eating in the same capacity as I have previously. I'm probably eating around like 2,700, like sub 3,000 calories. Previously I would eat surplus of 3,000 calories. I can definitely see the difference. But it's also meant that on the whole, as we'll see in the pose down at the end here, I'm just leaner than I've been in previous massing phases, which is fine. It's good. Helps with mental health. And the numbers are still going up, so that's the important thing. But again, I'm someone who, it's odd being in a gaining state and being hungry still. So we'll work on that. In any case, I've not had bad results from it. And now that I'm improving on my technique for these exercises, I've moved from having less energy to more energy. Hopefully that'll mean I can do a lot more as well. But that's really exciting. There's a lot of other cool little things going on, but we'll leave the discussion off there. And we will cut to now my little pose down, probably in my back garden. And I'll see you guys there, all right? Okay, off we go. Hey there, ladies and gentlemen, we're inside. Sorry, I lied. It started raining a little while after you guys left it. Although it's not still raining, I didn't want to chance it, so here we are. Also, for those of you who have noticed, yes, I have super long hair at the moment. I'm actually getting my hair permed for the first time. I'm gonna have some waves and some curls put in my hair, so have some movement in there. So that'll be really exciting. It's my first time, and the partner was like, "Do it." So what am I going to do? In any case, let's wrap up this video with a bit of the Legaluska action. Let's check out how our legs have been doing since the last time we saw them. Okay, I might need to lower you guys down just a little bit more. Yeah, there we go. So, as for the quads, we are looking, I think, rather good. Look at that like change in like color from like super pale to like red. That's quite funny. But the main progress that we've had has been our inner thigh. We've been able to, kind of overload the machine now. So we've had some really good gains as a result of that. Prop this up so I can pose properly. But here we are. Still got a nice amount of leg definition in spite of being in a surplus, which I'm quite happy about. The calves are doing well as well. They are not neglected, I wouldn't say, not at all. I'm quite happy with how that has been. The hamstrings, obviously a bit more difficult one to kind of pose here, but if I just shiv my ass towards the camera, hopefully we can see I don't have as much as that weird thing that I think I showed in one of my videos of where my discomfort is, and that's been a lot due to the stabilization I've done around my hips. But yeah, these are my legs. I'm very proud of them, and they continue to grow, they continue to get stronger, and that is like the best. That's the best. Always improving, always getting better, and just... that's awesome, isn't it? Anyway, I hope you guys are doing so well. Please look after yourself. Please take care of yourself. Lots of love. And I will see you soon. I'm probably going to do these so that instead of recording like a full week and then uploading it as I go, I'm probably going to record maybe 1 or 2 videos from a week and then upload it so we have a bit more of an episodic kind of thing of, kind of my entire life, so to speak, as opposed to these big segments of like a week fucking, 2 months ago. In any case, thank you very much for watching. Stay well, stay safe, look after yourself. See you soon.